Biden. Thank you all very much. It's a great honor to be here. Distinguished guests, soldiers and officers, friends and family, those graduating today, Academy faculty and staff, and most of all, cadets on the cusp of being commissioned in the United States Army. It is an honor. It is an honor to be here on this magnificent campus, whose graduates for more than 2 centuries have played a leading role in nearly every chapter of our nation's history. Before there was a military academy on the Hudson, before even the United States was the United States of America, at the height of the Revolutionary War, General George Washington considered West Point so strategically vital, he called it, and I quote, the key to the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, I would respectfully stipulate that West Point is even more important to our nation today. The 1,032 cadets gathered here are the key to whatever challenges the world has in store. The class of 2012, 4 years ago, you were among the most promising high school graduates on the planet. Your future limited only by the reach of your imagination. But in an age when no one would have blamed you for having no idea what you wanted to do with your lives, and in an era when the sacrifice required of our military had never been greater, you chose to turn your considerable talents, your strength of purpose, but even more importantly, the strength of your intellects, to serving your country and enrolling at the Academy. That, for all its merits, is no one's idea of an easy ride. That choice is your class motto: for more than ourselves. For more than ourselves. Just imagine what this world would be if it adopted that same notion. You have. And because of you, because you do dedicate yourself, while thousands of colleges and universities across America are proudly celebrating graduation today and throughout the year and any time this year, only at West Point and the other outstanding service academies does the entire United States of America swell with pride at the accomplishment you're celebrating today. All of America. No one is prouder, of course, than your families, and deservedly so. Military service is by its very nature, as anyone who's ever worn a uniform knows, by its very nature a family endeavor. Among you are 426 cadets with a military parent, including 80 of you with a mother or father who's graduated from this very academy. Then there's Cadet Adam Scott of Northern Virginia, who graduates today. He was preceded at West Point by 2 grandfathers, his father Bruce, his sisters Catherine and Curdy, and his brother Andrew. I guess Annapolis was never much of a choice for you. Same goes for Cadets Brian and Larry LaRusso. Two lacrosse stars from Rocky Point, New York. Celebrating with us today is his brother Kevin, who graduated from West Point in '09. Another brother Nick, who graduated 5 years ago, and is watching as I speak, all the way from Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. Cadets, let's give a shout out for Nick and all the other warriors in Afghanistan. They're incredible. You're about to join the finest warriors in history. And they're out there now. May God go with them. Today, as each of you awaits the officer's oath that will take you across one great threshold in American life, on behalf of President Obama, your Commander-in-Chief, your entire government, and I believe the entire nation, it is my honor to simply say, congratulations. Congratulations. Savor the moment. You have earned this. Savor this day. You remember it the rest of your lives. Every cadet passing through these halls, every hapless plebe rubbing General Sedgwick's spurs for good luck, every firstie forged through this crucible called West Point, everyone who ever touched George C. Marshall's plaque in the stadium and thought, when the time comes, I'll be ready for that mission, whatever it might be. Every single generation that's preceded you at West Point has faced daunting challenges upon receiving their commission, especially in times of war. But your generation, the 9/11 generation, is more than worthy of the proud legacy that you will inherit today. Most of you were in elementary school on September 11, 2001, when your nation was attacked. Old enough to remember, perhaps, but young enough that that tragic day need not have shaped your lives. But for so many of you, it did just that. As you and your immediate predecessors came of age, 2,800,000 of you were moved to join our military, knowing full well that you were likely to be deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. As General Ordiana, I've talked often on my multiple trips to Afghanistan with him. Hundreds of thousands of you have laced up those combat boots and walked across those barren deserts and snow-capped mountains, where 24 members of this graduating class have already served. Cadet Ben Ordway served in Iraq during some of the darkest days of that war. When his first sergeant recommended he apply for West Point, he spent 2 weeks studying for the SATs at FOB Caldwell. Hopped on a round trip flight to Baghdad to take the exam. I'd call that an unusual testing environment. Very few applicants have had to solve math problems and write essays while taking incoming mortar fire. Indeed, the challenges these wars present to young warriors are perhaps the most daunting in our nation's history. Because in addition to your fighting for your country, your predecessors and you will be asked to do so much more. You're asked to take on tasks once reserved only for those with years of seniority. and take on responsibilities far beyond the base or the battlefield. Young men and women steeped in military doctrine have had to master the intricacies of tribal politics, deal with issues ranging from electricity to unemployment, currency exchange to taxation. You are a remarkable group. It's been one of the singular honors of my life to be assigned by President Obama to oversee our policy in Iraq, to see firsthand the accomplishments of our warriors during my multiple trips in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq as both a U.S. Senator and as Vice President. President Obama and I came to office determined to end the war in Iraq responsibly, and today our troops are home. Last December, after 9 long years, I had the great privilege of standing before our commanders and troops in Baghdad on the eve of their departure. As I told them that day, in the finest American tradition, having carried out your mission, you're leaving, taking nothing with you but your experience, your achievements, and the pride associated with a hard job well done. That's what America does. In Afghanistan, President Obama laid out a clear strategy. Our commanders refocused and redoubled their efforts on disrupting, dismantling, and ultimately destroying, defeating al-Qaeda, reversing the Taliban's momentum, and training the Afghan security forces to prevent extremists from gaining ground. Since then, we've taken out, you have taken out, more than half of al-Qaeda's senior leadership. And in a mission that will go down in the annals of intelligence and special operations, some of America's most gifted security professionals tracked down Osama bin Laden after the trail had gone cold. And in one of the most incredibly daring raids, they delivered justice to the architect of a harmful ideology, a hateful ideology, with no place in the modern world, and the man responsible for the deaths of almost 3,000 innocents in our soil. They got him. And in the process, those warriors sent a message to the world that if you harm America, we will follow you to the end of the earth. And now, as you saw at NATO, the NATO conference in Chicago earlier this week, the President has formed a consensus among the 50 nations at our side on how best to responsibly end this war and bring our young men and women home. The entire surge announced by President Obama in this speech right here on this campus in Eisenhower Hall will return this summer. And our drawdown will continue thereafter, even as we continue to build up Afghanistani forces so they can assume full responsibility for their country. The cost of these wars, the longest in our nation's history, have been extraordinary. 4,422 service members, 4,422 fallen angels have paid the ultimate price in Afghanistan. 1,868 in Afghanistan, and more than 30,000 have been injured, some of whom will require medical care for the rest of their lives.